They all died young. Everybody, but Morrison, 27, Hendrix, 27. Although there is a wild conspiracy about Hendrix.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What you hear?
That he was killed by his manager. The conspiracy, there was one of his bodyguards, right? Is that what it was, Jamie, that wrote this book?
How did he die?
I think he died of his asphyxiation from throwing up, which is one thing that can happen to people that are doing drugs. But the bodyguard, I believe this, don't hold me to this, but I believe the story was Hendrix was going to leave his manager. His manager was mobbed up. His manager was like a scary guy. And his manager was making a lot of money with Hendrix. Hendrix was trying to leave. And he's got the rights to the Hendrix catalog, and he kills Hendrix. So his former roadie. So the thing that's compelling about this is shortly after this, his girlfriend committed suicide, air quotes, by being thrown off a roof. So they got rid of Hendrix and they got rid of his girlfriend, if that's what really happened. So he was the benefactor, allegedly, of the guitarist's $2 million life insurance policy. $2 million. Okay, worth around $1.2 million in 1970. According to Wright, Jeffrey told him about the crime in 1971, a year after the 27-year-old Hendrix was found dead in a London hotel. He said, "I had to do it, Tappy." Wright claims the manager said, "You understand, don't you? I had to do it. You know damn well what I'm talking about." We went round to his hotel room, got a handful of pills, stuffed them into his mouth, then poured a few bottles of red wine deep into his windpipe. Hendrix was found dead at the Samarkand Hotel on 18th of September 1970. The cause of death was recorded as barbiturate intoxication and inhalation of vomit. I can still hear the conversation Wright wrote of Jeffrey's confession. "See the man I'd known for so much of my life, his face pale, hand clutching at his glass in sudden rage." Hendrix's manager died in a plane crash in 73. So this guy's dead that supposedly did this. Listen, man, they did that back then. They were gangsters. There was gangsters running everything. If there was a lot of money to be made, scary people moved in, and it became a real problem.
Yeah, man, gangsters own a lot of stuff that a lot of people wouldn't want to own, like a gay club.
Yeah.
Like in L.A., they own all the gay clubs. They were not rated because they were paying.
But if you want to talk about something like that, like would a manager kill a client for a life insurance policy back then? Yeah,
I read
they didn't even have DNA back then, man.
I read this where it's like crazy, right? My mom didn't like Elvis; she liked the Beatles, right? And I asked my mom, "How come you don't like fucking Elvis? He's badass too." Oh, because Elvis said that I'd rather have kiss a dog than a Mexican woman. And I said, "When did he say that?" And he goes, "He said it." Then I found out later on when I went in a rabbit hole, it was a colonel. The colonel spread that.
The colonel spread that
because he wanted to keep him in America and not tour like anywhere.
The colonel was an evil dude, man.
Yeah.
That by the way, that Tom Hanks performance is fucking fantastic. In that Elvis movie where he plays the colonel, is when you see it, like you appreciate how a guy can really like become a different person. Like he becomes this creepy manager guy, this manipulative, gambling, creepy manager guy. I mean, it's fucking genius, man. It's so good. Like you that's what's crazy. Like you forget that's Tom Hanks. You're like, oh, but you really got a sense of the relationship that Elvis had with this dude. Because those guys that get crazy. Look, there's famous. And then there's Elvis famous in the 1960s, and you don't even understand what that means. No one understands what that means. And he was the first one to be like that. Imagine that.
I know, man. Imagine walking into a room and just go, "You want to kiss?" And they kiss.
But just imagine just trying to navigate life as a human being, and you're literally the most desired person to be around alive. Like you can't walk down the street. People scream and they cheer and they run at you. Women faint, they cry. And there's never been someone like that before. That's what's crazy because this is the first time you've seen a guy on television and he's on television shaking his hips. And so they go crazy.
No one ever done that, huh?
No. You never had a pop star on TV shaking his hips like he's fucking? Yeah, it was too much.
Did they cover it up the first time?
I think
on the Seth Loven
they
show?
did something where they were upset at him because they didn't know he was going to do it. I think he was actually going to get fined in some places. Like, you weren't allowed to shake your hips like that. Like, this is how crazy being Elvis was.
Badass. There's this one video or picture of Elvis that I like besides the one you have here. The Arrested. When he's playing outside, an outside event, and he's wearing all black, and he's fucking young as hell, and the pompadour looking good, the blue eyes are shiny. He's like,
Bro.
and everybody for 18.
And there was no Elvis before Elvis. That's what's crazy. So he's like this one guy that becomes way more famous than any entertainer ever. And then he's got an evil manager. And then he's doing pills. And then he's just living in paranoia. And the whole world don't make any sense. Nothing makes any sense. It can't make any sense. You have no peers. You have no one around you that's like you. No one around you that can understand you. And you're being protected by some guy who's like siphoning money from you.
He was doing shitload of gigs, right? Like he'll do like a 2-hour show and then leave, go do another 2-hour show somewhere else.
Well, I think he got into a financial bind, right?
Oh.
Wasn't that a part of the movie? And then he got that Vegas residency. This is Ed Sullivan Show, 1956.
This is the only time. This is the first time his hips show up on the screen. Is 10 minutes into this?
Yeah, he was wiggling his dick too much.
That's all he was doing, though.
That's a lot, Jamie. What do you mean? That's all he was doing. That's offensive.
After this aired, they said they wouldn't air him from the waist down anymore.
Isn't that crazy?
But they obviously it's barely shown. It's so crazy.
Bro, he probably had it. Look, his big old dick keeps slapping at his jacket. That's what it is. Look. If you see that side, back it up a little bit. That's what the problem is, Jamie. Look at that jacket popping up and down from his big old Elvis dick. Look at it.
He's hitting a symbol with it.
Bro, he's making his jacket pop with his dick. I'm with the censors. I'm with the censors. Of course he had a big dick.
Yeah.
He had everything. He had voice, talent, beautiful. You think he's going to have a little dick?
Hell
with
no,
all that,
man.
All those gifts?
How tall is he?
I don't know. He's probably at least 6 feet tall.
21 years old there.
21.
What a kid, man. Wow.
How can you manage that? How can you navigate that at 21 years old? It's him.
I know, man.
Bro, it's him and Michael Jackson. These are the two case studies in people that got too famous.
But sometimes I wonder, man, like, how would I handle that much success at that early age?
Bro, you wouldn't.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
You wouldn't. You would go crazy, bro.
How about you?
Crazy. I would have gone crazy.
I would have been singing with a big fucking cold sore.
Yeah, dude, I got lucky. My fame ascent was a slow drip, like over time.
Oh, bro.
It was a slow drip.
Mine was like that little mountain guy on The Price is Right. And then stopping along the way. Bunch of haters.